60s, and it was really commissioned by NASA because they wanted to know how to hire more geniuses. So they hired George Land and his team to go out and figure out, like, what makes a genius. So they started with a group of 5-year-olds and they gave them a creativity test. So the way they defined genius was, how do you use your creative imagination to solve problems? And what they found was, of this group of 5-year-olds, 98% qualified as geniuses. Then they came back 5 years later when this group was 10 years old, and it was down to 30%. 5 years later at 15, it was down to 12%. And then I think they just kind of gave up in disgust. But George Land took it further and went out and surveyed adults and found that only 2% of adults. And the thing that's also very interesting is he attributed this to school, 100% to school, that you would take a population, 98% genius, and dumb them down to 2%. And one of his quotes that I love is he said, uncreative behavior and thinking is learned.
Spiritual life hack: always walk around with a staff. When you hold a staff, it connects you to the earth without taking your shoes off. It's basically grounding without needing to take your shoes off. It grounds your energy and it charges you up from the earth.
How did I totally miss that this Bragg's apple cider vinegar was purchased by Katy Perry and her husband? And they are teamed up now with Bill Gates? So yeah, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, by Bragg's back in 2019. So this happened. Now, what I'm about to show you next is actually the bad part, okay? This wasn't so bad, but who Katy Perry is doing business with, now, y'all be the judge of this. So you got Katy Perry and her husband Orlando Bloom using Bill Gates' peel apples to make Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Yeah, that's correct. You heard it correctly. Now, let me tell you about it. A-peel Bragg's. It's about the use of the monoglycerides and the digaglycerides. I might have butchered that. But these additives are byproducts of oil processing, including partially hydrogenated canola and soybean oils, which contain artificial trans fats and dangerous food ingredients known to cause coronary heart disease and linked to 50,000 other fatal heart attacks a year. So yeah, that's what those A-peel stickers are doing to the apples and other fruits and veggies. And you can't wash it off. There's no way. There's no way you could wash it off. Unless you have the proper tools, and 99.999% of everyone that's watching this video, you will not know how to clean it off of your fruits and veggies. I promise you. But this is quite the eyebrow raiser. I already don't recommend drinking apple cider vinegar because it's very acidic for your body, but this is going to make Bragg's apple cider vinegar 1,000,000 times more acidic. And some of y'all are going to still drink it, huh? Comment below. Let me know what you're doing.
The climate right now is no warmer than it's been many times throughout history. Our baseline is now the lowest that carbon dioxide has been in 600 million years. As far as temperature change, the IPCC's first report of 1992 showed that the medieval warm period was warmer than the present. Well, this didn't fit the narrative, so by the time the 1996 report came out, it was a completely contrived graph called the hockey stick. So what they did was they got rid of the medieval warm period and the Little Ice Age, and so instead of the graph doing this, they flattened it out, and then they added instrumental record on the end that looks like it's going way up. The point is that the people that are calling them out on it are not getting the media coverage. Because look, at this point there's billions of dollars going into the whole climate change narrative.
Rockefeller's plan to scam the world work. In the 19th century, Oil was used to mainly lubricate steam engines, and being the second most abundant resource on Earth, it wasn't a valuable resource until it was discovered that it could be used as fuel, and the man leading the charge, John Rockefeller. Well, to increase profit, Rockefeller had to make it seem like oil was a scarce resource, sending his scientists to the 1892 Geneva Convention to put up the front that oil contained hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Therefore, it had to have come from something organic. Thus, the term fossil fuels. However, it was never actually proven that oil came from fossils, and that while oil rigs drill up to 35,000 feet, a fossil has never been found below 16,000 feet. On top of that, Rockefeller donated over $180 million to the General Education Board, and now every textbook states that oil is a fossil fuel. So, did oil really come from fossils, or...
If only I could make sense of life sometimes. If only I could shake off this disbelief. If only doing what seems right were not so painful. If only you could understand my grief. At least I know the universe is with me. At least I trust the intention of the stars. At least there's solace in accepting what will be. At least wisdom is gained from broken hearts. I will continue to be open. I will continue to be free. I will continue to be trusting. I will, above all, continue to be me. For it was not my destiny to lose myself. For it was not yours to live in fear. For it was too beautiful to be tainted. For it was too good to drown with tears.
No society wants you to become wise. It is against the investment of all societies. If people are wise, they cannot be exploited. If they are intelligent, they cannot be subjugated. They cannot be forced in a mechanical life to live like robots. They will assert their individuality. They will have the fragrance of rebellion around them. They would like to live in freedom. Freedom comes with wisdom. And no society wants people to be free. The communist society, the fascist society, the capitalist society, the Hindu, the Mohammedan, the Christian, no society would like people to use their own intelligence. Because the moment they start using their intelligence, they become dangerous. Dangerous to the establishment, dangerous to the people who are in power, dangerous to the haves, dangerous to all kinds of oppression, exploitation, suppression. Dangerous to the churches, dangerous to the states. In fact, a wise man is a fire, alive, a flame. He would like rather to die than to be enslaved.
An airplane was about to crash. There were 4 passengers on board, but only 3 parachutes. The first passenger said, "I'm Lionel Messi, the best football player. Barcelona and millions of fans needs me and I can't afford to die." So he took the first pack and left the plane. The second passenger, Joe Biden, said, "I am newly elected U.S. president in American history, so my people don't want me to die." He took the second pack and jumped out the plane. The third passenger, the Pope said to the fourth passenger, a 10-year-old schoolboy, "My son, I am old and don't have many years left. You have my life and let you have the last parachute." The little boy said, "That's okay, Your Holiness. There's a parachute left for you. America's smartest president took my school bag lull."
Good evening. That's the lot. There you go. It wasn't too long tonight, was it? It was only about 9 minutes long. So this is not a very healthy Dr. Robert, full of cold. I'll explain how I think I got that anyway. But you get me with my sexy voice tonight. Well, hello. I'm standing a bit like Clive de Carl. Hello, Clive de Carl here. I quite like a bit of cannabis. Yeah, so this is about my second day, something like that. I nearly didn't do the show, but I thought, no, I want to soldier on. I want to do it. And what I've done is I'm doing the show a bit different tonight. We've got 2 tunes for you tonight. And we've also got all the stories I've pre-recorded, so I can just save my voice, because I keep drying up. I've got my honey, my lemon, and my ginger here, and I've got my box of tissues as well. And literally 20 minutes before the show, I must have been sneezing about. I don't think I've ever sneezed as much. I think I sneezed about 10 times, which is a record for me. Yeah. What's your record of sneezing? I haven't even done any questions. Your questions, actually. See, I'm that bad, but I think there's some left over from last week that I didn't ask anyway. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, I think there is a question that I didn't. Yeah, there is some questions I didn't. Anyway, good evening. Good evening to, let's go from the bottom, shall we? Good evening to Chris. Good evening to Pete. Good evening to Kitty. Good evening, Cookie. Good evening, Rick. Good evening, Kendo. Good evening, James. Paula, hello. Chris, yeah, we said that. Hello. I'm just going up and down here. Yeah, I think we've covered it. I think we've got Amanda. Hello, Amanda. I think that's about it. I think that's it. Yeah. So how are you all healthier than me? Are you all healthier than me? Oh, Spanish chicken. You need the tunes, Rob. LOL. They help you breathe more easily. Chewy menthol are the best. Please, if you want to give me your cold remedies, I'm very welcome to have them. Yeah. I mean, if I was feeling pretty crap, right, I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have done this show. I mean, the worst thing is my nose is a bit blocked and it keeps running, so I'm running after it. Yeah, I've just been sneezing a bit. So, but I think it'll probably be a shorter show tonight. You'll probably be glad to hear that I'm probably not planning on doing a long show, and that I'm going to just skip the quiz at the end tonight. Yes, it's the quiz of the week. We're gonna quit this quiz of the week. Yep. I know you all love it, but it won't hurt you for 1 week not to have it, will it? Hey, no, of course it won't. So yeah, the reason. Well, let's do the legal bit. Good evening. My name's not a Dr. Robert. I'm not a doctor. I'm just an entertainer. I'm here to read you some health stories and talk about health. And anything I say is not advice. So please go and see a healthcare professional if you need any health advice. Because right now I'm not in the best position to give you health advice, am I? Really? There you go. Good evening, Sean, as well. Welcome aboard. Is that a sheep, Sean, that you're saying? It looks like a load of sheep there. Good evening. So I went down the allotment on Sunday. Me and my partner went down the allotment on Sunday, and it wasn't raining, but then it started to rain, and then it rained a lot, and we managed to get the garlic in. We planted a lot of garlic, about 50 bulbs, something like that. So, because I loved my garlic this year, and I thought, no, I've got to do that. And I was going to do the onions, but we got absolutely drenched. And I got to the point where, I was really soaking and cold as well. I could feel it on my back and stuff. And I mean, we got home, jumped in the shower as soon as I got home and everything. But I think the damage had been done. And, it's that old adage of, oh, if you don't wrap up, you'll get a cold. What your mum used to tell you and everything. So I think there is elements of that because your body temperatures change. But the good news is, right, you can't catch anything from me. Yeah. This is my detox, all right? It's no one else's. It's my detox. So, no. All right? I just saw that Cookie made it. Best cold remedy is powdered pangolin scales snorted under a pink moon. You're starting me off, see, Cookie. Don't make me laugh, man, because I'll only suffer otherwise. So yeah, there's Cookie's remedy for the for my cold. Let me get rid of this one, so I know I don't need that one. Let's remove that from the studio. Good. Okay. I'm just gonna have a little blow here. Excuse me. If you see anything hanging from my nose, can you give me a shout, please? Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much. So yeah, I've pre-recorded all the stories. I did it this morning at about 7 o'clock this morning with my very sexy voice. Isn't it funny how your voice just completely changes when you get a cold? What do I want to say? Oh yeah, I want to say great show on Friday. Thanks to Cookie, Pete, Jimmy, and Steve as well. I really enjoyed the show. I think it's something we should do maybe once a quarter or something like that. It was a good chat, and the feedback was really, really good. So thanks again to everyone who joined in and everyone who watched as well. I believe that Cookie and Pete are still off PooTube or GooTube as they call it, and won't be back till next Monday, I think it is. So in the meantime, just catch them on Odyssey and Rumble as well, of course. So yeah. Cheers, Cookie. Thank you very much. And have you got any news for me? Any news? Have you had anything decent for dinner? I'm making so this is the irony, yeah. I'm making my mum some chicken soup, in the slow cooker, where I'm going to literally doing it overnight, so the bones break down, and Jewish what do they call it, Jewish medicine or something like that, or something like that, penicillin, Jewish penicillin. That's it. And if you complain about me with my spoon in, it's because I keep squeezing the lemons. You see, it's not because I'm trying to do a Jimmy O. So yeah, I've got some stories for you tonight. About 4 stories. I've also, and I should say, shouldn't I? Really, and I haven't said it. Happy Halloween! Have you gone out and all done your tricking and treating? And it's All Hallows Eve, isn't it? Have you gone out and done all your tricking and treating and got lots of sweeties? I've got some stories on sugar tonight. I've also pulled out an old article from the internet of 10 things you didn't know about, or you may not know about Halloween. Some of it did surprise me, actually. I was a bit surprised by it because I really thought that I knew where it all came from, but I obviously didn't. Sean says that show you did with Cookie and Pete was more my kind of thing, Rob. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sean. Good. And Jimmy as well, and Steve as well. Yeah, I should have the chicken soup, Kitty. Yeah, I will do. I'll save myself some as well for tomorrow. So also, I've got tunes from not Mr. Is it Mr. Smith? No, Boris. Boris and his bitches or something like that. Sorry, I'm just not with it tonight. I do apologise, but I'm here. Yeah, happy Halloween, says Chris. There we go. Look, let's show. Chris is telling everyone happy Halloween. Have you had any? Do you buy treats? Do you buy treats for anyone who knocks on your door? Yeah. I scolded at a few children whilst I was out shopping. Does that count for Halloween, Cookie? Yeah, I feel like I could scare a few kids the way my nose is right now. Yeah, I used to celebrate Halloween. I used to, and I must admit, I think as I've got older, I've become more grumpier, which is quite normal. Spooked a few kiddies that called, said Paula. I did used to, actually. I used to, when I used to live in another part of Bedfordshire, we used to have kids knocking on the door. And whilst my partner would open the door, I would literally have my hairy hands on, my wolf hands on, and jump at them and go Wah! And really scare them and make them jump. I thought, well, if you want to knock on the door, you got to be prepared to be scared yourself. So yeah, I've scared a few kids in my time. I'm not proud of it. I just go out to the streets now and I scare the kids. Oh dear. Calm down, Robert. Calm down. And Pete sent me a tune, which I'm going to play at the end of the evening as well. You'll get the tune as well. I'll reference it because basically there is meant to be a bad storm on the way. It's a bit unusual, but then again, everyone's been having bad storms, haven't they? Acapulco had that terrible. I was looking into that storm and I saw that Pete and Cookie were talking about it last night. And apparently, the worst they should get is one every 50 years, and it should be a Category 1. But that thing went from Category 1 to Category 5 in hours. Doing speeds of 165 miles an hour. No wonder it smashed everything to pieces. If you didn't see it, catch Pete and Cookie's show last night on Odyssey and the other channel. I'm going to start off with them with some stories, and so I'm going to step away from the computer, and here's some pre-recorded stuff that I did, and then I'll read the article to you that I pre-recorded this morning, and then I shall come back to you, all right? And then we can just pause it and discuss that or whatever we want to do. So let's should we start now then? Here we go. I'll just take myself out here. Here's a story from the Independent about stressed medical students. So stressed medical students are considering quitting before they even qualify as half struggle with mental health. 3/4 of students in the UK are worried about how staff shortages will affect their future careers as waiting lists hit an all-time high. Almost 6 in 10 medical students and nursing students in the UK are struggling with their mental health, with some saying they are considering quitting the profession before they've even qualified. New research by Elsevier Health, a scientific research group, found 57% of trainees say they are anxious about their mental health, whilst a fifth are contemplating dropping out of their undergraduate degrees. Researchers discovered 3/4 of medical and nursing students in the UK are worried about how healthcare staff shortages will affect their future careers. Researchers polled just over 2,200 students around the world, with 325 UK students surveyed. And Joa Awe, a third-year medical student at King's College London, told The Independent she was considering quitting the NHS and contemplating other areas of work. The 20-year-old said, I speak to lots of medics who are considering leaving. My default is assuming most people are. Understaffing definitely plays a role, but not for why you might think. The issue is why it is understaffed. Why are people leaving? That seems like a red flag. I'm not just thinking about picking up the extra work. Miss Orr, who is interested in plastic surgery and sexual and reproductive health, said a colleague had just been telling her about how she is looking at work outside medicine. You will have doctors encouraging you to look at other options which are not going into the NHS. Mostly suggest they go to work as a doctor in Australia or Canada. I'm keeping my options open. My issue is I love medicine. That is the thing I'm most passionate about. Ms. Orr raised concerns over the cost of both the entry fee and preparation for medical exams, adding that she has not looked at the cost for any of the UK exams as she is keeping her options open. I was burnt out in the preclinical part of my training because the work we do in a team is more than other students do in a year. She said, I wasn't sleeping as much as I could have been. I did all-nighters in the second year. Data from June shows there are more than 125,000 vacancies in hospital or clinical care in England, and over 10% of all nursing jobs are empty, whilst the waiting list for the NHS treatment is at an all-time high at 7.75 million. Dr. Philip Zhu, a GP who supports medical students and junior doctors in Leeds, said, I see daily how vital it is we address students' well-being concerns. doubling enrollment won't resolve looming workforce shortages if issues impeding students' wellness go unresolved. Jan Herzog, Elsevier's health president, added, "It's clear that healthcare across the globe is facing unprecedented pressures and that the next generation of medical and nursing students are anxious about their future." There we go. Thank you very much. And I'm back in the room. And no, Cookie, I couldn't find my... I did look for them. I did look for my werewolf gloves, but I don't know where they are, to be honest with you. I've probably got them around somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So I would have put my werewolf gloves on, especially for you, Cookie. I would have done. Good evening, Blazing Stars. Good evening, Mascara Snake as well. Hello, how are you? Yeah, thank fuck he's gone. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate, for saying that. Yeah, so that was so the medical students are giving up. So what's going to be happening now is that people are going to be waiting for doctors that don't even qualify, and now they're all trying to go to maybe Canada and Australia. So the lists are getting even longer. I think I said this the other day that my mum was waiting. She's waiting for an appointment with the GP, and the earliest we've got her in now is the 14th of November. Things are just getting worse in the NHS. They really are. And there's nothing we can do about it. The lockdown has created this, and so has the medical intervention, as far as I'm concerned. It's really made a massive difference. What's people saying? Too much Halloween punch, maybe, Nick, Rick. Oh, what's Rick saying? Hello. I saw a life-size dinosaur with a load of kids. Well, good for them. Good for them. And Blazing Stars, how are you? It's been a long time. We haven't seen you for a while, mate. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Should we do another tune? Yeah. Should we do a tune? Well, a tune even. I haven't done another tune. This is called Bullshit Eater.
It never seems to stop. Told myself it will, but I'm scared it's not. All day, every day, it's aggro non-stop. Life seems to have got me in a tight headlock. Wanna find time to breathe, but I just cannot. Spare time's a thing some of us just haven't got. The hands race time-lapse style spinning round the clock. I'm confined by shit to do, like I'm under key and lock. Some days I feel like a bullshit eater. I'll say it straight now to you. Seems eating shit's all I do. Many days I feel like a bullshit eater. Like that's what I do. Pleased to meet ya. Just piled high on my plate, always in earshot. Only thing I can hear is more things going plop. Other people's shit hitting me non-stop. I'm always in line for my special kind of booster shot. Problems of all kinds, gotta deal with such a lot. Shat onto my plate by others, some seem genuine, some not. Games people play make my heart ache and brain rot. But I never pass any up, I take the job lot. I'm like Pac-Man. These days I feel like a bullshit eater. On stinking feces I chew, and eating shit's all I do. Each day's a waste as a bullshit eater. You know that taste never gets sweeter. bullshit eater, desperate to rest and to spew, but there's always more to get through. These days I feel like a bullshit eater. Oh, what I've heard turns out true. Some bad shit makes a man of you.
Come on, you lot. Eat up your bullshit. And no complaining.
Yeah, Angry North and Boris's bitches there, and Bullshit Eater. I quite like that song. So good to give him some support as well. Let me just get rid of that, remove that from the studio, so I know that's been done. Good. Cookie made a good point. Yeah, about that last article that I read. People are afraid of the. I think that they know they're going to be replaced by AI. Apparently, in China, people with degrees are working in McDonald's now, and I think that's going on everywhere. I mean, everything's going down the pan, and I was about to say to people, now I'm just about to get out one of my pensions that I've got, my private pensions. It's just about to come out, and I'm absolutely certain of everything that I've researched, because this show's about health, so you can say it's also financial health as well. I'm absolutely certain that pension funds are going to just go down the pan. I mean, they've lost. I was reading a story about a guy, and he lost 30% of his pension in 1 year. 30%. So let's say his pension pool was 200,000. Okay, he lost effectively like £60,000 of that pension pool. Well, if it keeps going like that, where's it going to go? And this is all because the pensions are all invested in government bonds and things, which is great when the interest rates apparently are meant to be low, but when they're high, it doesn't work. So I don't know. For me, I'm just going to invest in something like gold and silver, because I think if you just leave your pension where it is, it's just going to and just think, oh, I'll hope for the best. It's probably just going to disappear. I mean, they want to reset anyway. This is all part of the reset. Jamie Dimon, I don't know if people have heard of him, but he's a big banker in America. And yeah, Jerry's pension robbery, and welcome, Jerry. Jamie Dimon apparently has just sold $140 million worth of stock. Now, what does that tell you? Something is getting ready to go. Something is going to go down very, very soon. And, so I know some people say, well, no, it'll all sort itself out. But they're getting all the CBDCs ready. And, then your special wallet with your carbon credits on it as well. Pension robbery, yeah, Jimmy, what is it? So, right, so what's Jim saying? So everyone thought it was a good idea to stop making lots of babies, and now they are worried about being replaced. Well, tough. The next generation will be happy there are robots. Yeah, and you're right, Jim, because what it is that they need people to pay for the pensions of the people that are going to be retiring, because there's not enough people apparently to pay for these pensions, and there's going to be a deficit. And like I said to you, the funds are going, the pension funds are going down. Things are going to get really, really bad. I don't want to be the harbinger of doom and gloom, but if you do have a pension, think very wisely about what you're going to do. Don't just let it go to pot, if you'll pardon the pun. Just try and be money wise. Do some research yourself. I mean, I can't give financial advice, no way, but I know what I'm going to do. Try and be as independent as possible, because any pensions in the future will all be central bank digital currency pensions and things like that. So people saying hello to Jimmy. Yeah. Blazing Star's going to happen here next. Yep. Jerry says, here now, saying 75 years of age before retirement. It doesn't matter, Jerry, right? There'll be no money. When you're meant to retire, like here, like 67, there won't be any money to retire. You will not have anything. I think this system is going to collapse personally within the next 2 years maximum. I do not believe that it can carry on being sustained. It will go down the pan, unfortunately. So I hope you're all well and good. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Welcome to Health Freedom. This is my Tuesday night love-in, and this is just a show just to give you some health stories, make your Tuesday go a little bit easier. And I've also got I've got an article about Halloween, as it's Halloween. If you're enjoying the content, give it a thumbs up, please. So I'm going to give you another. So just if anyone has joined me late, just to let you know, I'm actually full of cold. I've got me paracetamol capsules, and I've also got me honey, lemon, and ginger here. If you've got any tips for me about how to manage cold, please write them in the show notes. I'm quite happy. It's probably going to be a shorter show tonight. No quiz at the end, but I will do an after chat. Where's Spanish? I haven't seen Spanish. Spanish, are you lurking? He's normally lurking these days. But I will do an after chat. I'll get everyone into the after chat who wants to be there. I'll stay for about 15 minutes so I can manage it, and then I'll bugger off then. Good evening, Mr. Smith. Late but made it. Health Freedom, not a Dr. Robert. Thank you very much, sir. Nice to have Mr. Smith here. Mr. Smith, who gives us some great tunes as well. Everyone loved that last tune, Mr. Smith. There was a lot of drink wine, says Chris. No, I'm not tonight, you see. Maybe that's the problem, Chris. I'm not drinking wine tonight. Maybe that's why I've got a cold. I think it was me planting the garlic in pissing down rain on my allotment. But I will benefit. I could do with the garlic now, couldn't I? Apparently, garlic's meant to be very good for you as well with colds and things like that. Okay, here's another health story. So this is a story from The Guardian via richieallen.co.uk. Listening to emotional music can reduce pain. Canadian researchers are claiming that listening to music that gives us chills or goosebumps can help to reduce pain, according to The Guardian. If you're heading to the dentist, you may want to turn up the arousing Adele ballad. Researchers say our preferred tunes can not only prove to be powerful painkillers, but that music may be particularly potent. Music has long been found to relieve pain, with recent research suggesting the effect may even occur in babies, and other studies revealing that people's preferred tunes could have a stronger pain-killing effect than relaxing music selected for them. Now researchers say there is evidence that emotional responses generated by the music also matter. We can approximate that favourite music reduce pain by about 1 point on a 10-point scale, which is at least as strong as an over-the-counter painkiller like ibuprofen under the same conditions. Moving music may even have a stronger effect, said Darius Veleficius. I'm not sure I said that right. The first author of the research from McGill University in Montreal, Canada. Writing in the journal Frontiers in Pain Research, he and his colleagues report how they asked 63 healthy participants to attend the Roy Pain Laboratory on the McGill campus, where researchers used a probe device to heat an area of their left arm, a sensation akin to a hot cup of coffee being held against the skin. Whilst undergoing the process, the participants either listened to 2 of their favourite tracks, relaxing music selected for them, scrambled music, or silence. As the music sound or silence continued, the participants were asked to rate the intensity and unpleasantness of the pain. Each participant experienced each condition for around 7 minutes, within which 8 pain stimulations and 8 ratings took place. When the auditory period ended, participants were asked to rate the music's pleasantness, their emotional arousal, and the number of chills they experienced, a phenomenon linked to sudden emotions or heightened attention that can be felt as tingling, shivers, or goosebumps. The results reveal participants rated the pain as less intense by about 4 points on a 100-point scale and less unpleasant by about 9 points when listening to their favorite tracks, compared with silence or scrambled sound. Relaxing music selected for them did not produce such an effect. He also said it's unlikely that results are down to second guessing. We found a very strong correlation between music pleasantness and pain unpleasantness, but zero correlation between music pleasantness and pain intensity, which would be an unlikely finding if it was placebo or expectation effects, he said. Further work revealed music that produced more chills was associated with lower pain intensity and pain unpleasantness, with lower scores for the latter also associated with music rated more pleasant. So would you have music playing instead of a painkiller if you went to the dentist? You know? I'm not sure I would, but I mean, it's all energy, isn't it? It's all energy. It was quite funny because you do wonder, don't you? Like Cookie and Pete, they love a bit of their heavy stuff, don't they? And you're thinking, well, and also, yeah, would that help you with your pain? But then again, if you associate with that music, whilst you're lying there on the dentist chair or whatever therapy you're meant to be having, would it really help you? I think it would. I think if you love that music and it relaxes you, it doesn't matter whether it's heavy or not. I think it would make a significant difference. I just found that story really fascinating, that music can have that effect on you, and that can actually relieve pain. I mean, I've been in a car, and you get the goosebumps, don't you, when you're singing a certain song or whatever, or you're listening to a certain song. What's your favorite song at the moment? My favorite song is the song that's this time of year. It's from War of the Worlds. It's Forever Autumn. I love that song right now because it's just about autumn, isn't it? But I've got one more tune tonight as well that Pete's chosen, so we'll be playing that at the end of the show as well. It's going to be a shorter show tonight, so I apologise for that. But I have got a question that I'd like to ask you, and let me get to it. Where is it? It's just here. Here's a question for you. What's the one thing you do to stay healthy? Don't go and plant your garlic in pouring rain and get cold and wet, because you end up with a cold. I haven't had a cold for about 2 years. Honestly, I haven't had any sort of detox like this for about 2 years. And the good thing is I haven't got a temperature or anything like that. It's just all, it's all in my head, if you forget, pardon the pun, but it's all in my head. So what's the one thing you do to stay healthy? Do you take vitamins? Do you drink lots of water? Do you make sure you go out and get as much sun? Do you do grounding? Or Rick does drinking? It's whatever works for you, Rick. It's whatever works for you, mate. It's not. And Jimmy says the secret to health is not give a fuck about it. Yeah, and also I suppose try and have as much healthy stuff as you can. Amanda says gin, good. Blazes says I eat as well. Chris says not getting stressed by anything, and again, that's energy, isn't it? It's all about energy. I mean, look at the stuff that's going on at the moment. We've got some terrible news going on in the world at the moment. Do you know? Every time I see it, I just try and ignore it. I just try and ignore it because I know it will change my energy, and I really don't want to. I don't want to be drawn into that. Cookie was talking, and Pete were talking about it last night. Is it peace is war and war is peace. You know, I mean, for me, it's all about just trying to stay peaceful. You know, we've got to have a there's got to be peace. And that MP that got sacked for calling for a ceasefire, what a fucking joke! Excuse my French. You know, and it just shows you why there's no point in voting for these people that are in Parliament, because all they'll do is they'll just do what they want. They'll just do what their masters want, and they'll just serve them as best as they can. You know, they really will. They'll just do exactly what they're told to do. It doesn't matter whether you want peace. If they're told no, you won't vote for peace, they won't vote for peace. Remember, they just want you just to be a good citizen and do as you're told. Carry on paying your taxes and lose your pension at the same time as well. And yeah, good evening, Spanish Chicken. Good evening, Chris O'Rourke. Nice to have you here. Welcome, Steve to Goose. Nice to have you here as well. And did I see also? I think I did. Nubian. Well, welcome, Nubian. This meditation helps me since about a week. Tired, clear, replenish your energy. Now in the Divine Sacred Waters Guided Quantum Journey on YouTube. Okay, thanks for that, Nubian. Thank you very much for sharing that. Nubian, post it in the notes. Post it because you can then post the link. So if you want to do that, post it in the link of the show notes, when the comments rather. So yeah, what's the one thing you do to stay healthy? Only heard that song Saturday driving in the car, Rob. Forever Autumn. What a song, isn't it, Jerry? I love that song. And I remember going to see War of the Worlds live. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Seeing War of the Worlds live. It was just spectacular. And that's when they had Justin Hayward singing as well, still singing. I think he still sings. But it was fantastic. Loved it. Loved seeing it live. High dose of vitamin C and D, says Mr. Smith. I've been doing all of that, Mr. Smith. I don't know what's going. You know, maybe I was just due a detox. Who would have known? Yeah, because it's been a while. To stay healthy, I avoid drinking in busy pubs because they never clean the glasses properly, says Rich T. Yep, that's not a bad call. Kitty says vitamins, water, sun when it's here, walking and grounding too. Yeah, I saw. Did you see that video that I started a video, my memes at the start, and a very easy tip when you're out walking. Now, obviously, you're not grounding, are you? Oh God, my nose is getting worse. I can hear it. I'm starting to sound like this. I've got a cold. Got a cold. When you're out walking, get a stick and walk with a stick, because when you're holding that stick, yeah, and you're pushing it down, you're then grounding. So it doesn't matter whether you're wearing shoes or not, or boots, whatever, you're still grounding. That's been proven. They've done meter tests and everything. So Sean says, being physically active is the #1 health decision. I agree, Sean. Be physically active. You're absolutely right. Blazing Stars, bit of tobacco and weed keeps me sane. I used to be the same, Blazing. Chris O'Rourke says, cold showers, apparently. I have a coldest shower because I'm a pussy. Yeah, apparently, Chris, what you're meant to do is have a hot shower, and then literally the last 30 seconds, 10 seconds, just turn it to cold and go and shock your body. Apparently, shocking is the thing that really helps you. And yeah, it helps your blood vessels, it helps your brain cells, all that sort of thing. So sleep works, says Pete. Yeah, sleep does work. It works really, really well. Yeah. Welcome, Steve. Yeah, I think I've already said to you. Hope you're all well. Hope you're well, sir. I think You were a bit under the weather the other week, weren't you? So you got over that pretty quickly. Mr. Smith says the military-industrial complex runs the world now. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Spanish. Hello, Spanish. I knew you were lurking there, mate. I knew you were lurking. Hope you're well. Cannot post comments whilst live on air on here. Oh, okay. Nubian, sorry about that. Keeping balance and everything. Make sure a wet stick so you get continuity. Make sure it's a wet stick so you get continuity, says Chris. Okay. Cheers for that, Chris. David Essex was the artillery man. Yeah. He was brilliant, wasn't he? And Thin Lizzy guy, what's his name? Who's the lead singer of Thin Lizzy? He was also the pastor, wasn't he? Trapped in the basement, yeah. Yeah, I must pull that out and listen to it again. Mr. Smith, drummer brain in action. The fake dead kid industrial complex is the new kid on the block, as they say. Laying down and just breathe slowly seems important for me. Watching, listening, interacting here helps me too. I'm glad that we can give you some relaxation and healthy tips as well, Nubian. And please give us your healthy tips. Phil Lynott, thanks, Blazing Stars. Yeah, lead singer of, he was the parson, wasn't he? No, Nathaniel. And hug a tree. When was the last time you hugged a tree? I've been hugging trees in the summer. There's some really lovely big trees where I am, and I go up and I give them a hug. I think there's amazing energy in hugging a tree. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start the recording that I did this morning. I'll be back with you very shortly. I think this is the article about Halloween. So happy Halloween. Here's some facts. And Julie Covington says, Manda, that's right. She was his wife. Yeah, so here's, I think this is the one about Halloween. So back in a minute. So as it's Halloween, I thought we could do some things you didn't know about the history and mystery of Halloween. So this comes from historyextra.com. This was published in 2020. 10 things you didn't know about the history and mystery of Halloween. What is the history of Halloween? And when was it first celebrated? Why do we trick or treat? Why do we carve pumpkins? Here, Dr. David Clark from Sheffield Hallam University, an expert on British folklore, brings you the facts. Every year, Halloween provokes controversy and divides opinions. Most people see it as just a bit of harmless fun, whilst others see it marks an ancient pagan festival, and some evangelical Christians claim it is a celebration of dangerous occult forces. So what are the facts? Here, Dr. David Clark from Sheffield Hallam University, an expert on British folklore, investigates the origins of Halloween and its traditions. A religious festival. Most people believe 31st of October is an ancient pagan festival associated with supernatural. In fact, it has religious connotations, although there is a disagreement among historians about when it began. Some say Hallowtide was introduced as All Saints in the 7th century AD by Pope Boniface. I think that's the 6th, whilst others maintain it was created in the 9th century AD by Christians to commemorate their martyrs and saints. In medieval Britain, Halloween was the eve of the Catholic festival All Saints or All Hallows, from Old English Holy Man on November the 1st, and was followed by the Feast of All Souls on the 2nd of November. We didn't always carve pumpkins. The tradition of carving a face on a turnip or swede, and more recently pumpkin, and using these as lanterns seems to be a relatively modern tradition. On the last Thursday in October, children in the Somerset village of Hinton St George carry lanterns made of mangel wurzels, a type of root vegetable. The light shines through a design etched on the skin. They are carried around the streets as the children chant, "It's punky night tonight, it's punky night tonight, give us a candle, give us a light, it's punky night tonight." We didn't trick or treat in England until the 1970s. Much of the modern supernatural lore surrounding Halloween was invented as recently as the 19th century. Scots and Irish settlers brought the custom of Mischief Night visiting to North America, where it became known as trick or treat. Until the revival of interest in Halloween during the 70s, this American tradition was largely unknown in England. The importation of trick or treat into parts of England during the 1980s was helped by scenes in American TV programs and the 1982 film E.T. There is no evidence the pagan Anglo-Saxons celebrated a festival on the 1st of November, but Venerable Bede says the month was known as Blood Month, Blood Month, when surplus livestock was slaughtered and offered as sacrifices. The truth is, there is no written evidence that the 31st of October was linked to the supernatural in England before the 19th century. The idea of Halloween as a festival of supernatural evil forces is an entirely modern invention. Urban legends about razor blades in apples and cyanide in sweets, hauntings by restless spirits, and the use of the 31st of October as the date of evil or inauspicious events in horror films reflect modern fears and terrors. In pre-Christian Ireland, the 1st of November was known as Samhain, summer's end. This date marked the onset of winter in Gaelic-speaking areas of Britain. It was also the end of the pastoral farming year, when cattle were slaughtered and tribal gatherings such as the Irish Fay of Tara was held. In the 19th century, the anthropologist Sir James Fraser popularized the idea of Samhain as an ancient Celtic festival of the dead, when pagan religious ceremonies were held. Prayers, not pumpkins. The Catholic tradition of offering prayers to the dead, the ringing of church bells, and lighting of candles and torches on the 1st of November provides the link with the spirit world. In medieval times, prayers were said for souls trapped in purgatory on November the 1st. This was believed to be a sort of halfway house on the road to heaven, and it was thought that their ghosts could return to earth to ask relatives for assistance in the journey. Popular Halloween costumes in England included souling, where groups of adults and later children wearing costumes visited houses to sing and collect money and food. Souling was common in parts of Cheshire, Shropshire, Lancashire, and Yorkshire on the 1st and 2nd of November. In parts of northern England, special cakes were baked and left in churchyards as offerings to the dead. Until the 19th century, bonfires were lit on Halloween in parts of northern England and Derbyshire. Some folklorists believe the enduring popularity of Guy Fawkes bonfires on the 5th of November may be a memory of an older fire festival, but there is a lack of written evidence for these in England before the late 17th century. Love divinations on Halloween spread into England from Scotland as a result of the popularity of Robert Burns' poem Halloween in Victorian Times. One love divination mentioned by Burns includes placing hazelnuts in the fire, naming one for yourself and the other for your partner. If they burned gently and then went out, this indicated a long and harmonious life together. If they coughed and spluttered like I'm doing today, or exploded, this was a sign of problems ahead. Apples were also used for divination purposes. The skin was thrown over the shoulder of the fruit or the fruit floated in water or hung upon strings to be seized by the teeth of the players. Dr. David Clark is a senior lecturer in journalism at Sheffield Hallam University. He holds a PhD in English cultural tradition and folklore and a degree in archaeology, prehistory, and medieval history. There you go. Oh, it was said that it was first published in October 2014. What an interesting thing about Halloween. I never knew that. There you go. And there you go. Yeah, I mean, when I read through that, it did. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Now, again, it's history is only what people tell us, isn't it? And what we read in books that are left. But I hope you found that interesting. It is Halloween. It is All Hallows Eve. I found it interesting, the link between Guy Fawkes Night and Halloween, and how there was a bit of a crossover, because I don't believe, now I don't know about you, but I don't believe in the whole Guy Fawkes story myself. I think that's poppycock. I don't think, and I read something a few years ago how there's no way that they would have been able to get away with storing gunpowder and carrying gunpowder around. So, what do you think? Did you enjoy that? I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, Paula's out on her broom tonight. If you're still liking the show, says Cookie, hit the like button. Thank you very much. The thumbs up. Yeah, thank you very much. It was a false flag. Yeah, absolutely. Fawkes was a patsy. Yeah, and yeah. Do you think, Cookie, it actually happened? I mean, again, or did they just use him and say, "Oh, well, you were plotting"? Everything that I've read, I don't believe it. Again, it was another something that never happened. And again, it's just a bit of history, and it's a good time to burn effigies of Guy Fawkes, or any of your favourite politicians as well. You can burn effigies of your favourite politicians. I think that's what it should be changed to now, shouldn't it? Let's have a look. History is written by the winners, so it means now to me. Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Smith. I mean, where do we how do we know what our history is? You know, when the Library of Alexandria burnt down, what happened to all the history then? What about all the books that existed then? Excuse me, I need to blow my nose. Excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, I'm getting blocked again. Sorry about that. If you don't know, I'm full of cold, so that's why show's going to be a little bit shorter tonight. But I wanted to do the show. It's just a cold, but it's bloody annoying because my nose is blocked, and and I wanted to be in the community here and share some information and stories with you. So I hope you're all doing well on this Halloween night. Sorry, I'm not being a bit more on form tonight, but there you go. What can you do? There will be an after show chat. It's going to be a shorter show tonight, and there will be an after show chat. And I'll stay for about 15 minutes. Whoever wants to jump in. But that reminds me as well. By the way, I'm just about to buy the software that everyone contributed to. I'm not going to go with StreamYard. I'm going to go with another streaming service. And it's one that allows you to put the comments on the screen. So what you'll do is you'll see the comments here. You may have seen some other people that do it, because I think it's quite nice because it makes it easier for me to read the comments. And also I think that people who don't want to make a comment, it might encourage them to join in as well. And because people like that, and again, everyone gets to see the comments then. You can change the speed of it and all sorts of things. So I am going to make that purchase, and I hope it works out and everything. But you can do that with StreamYard, says Cookie. I don't know if you can actually, mate. I didn't know if you could. Maybe Pete can show me. I don't know, because I didn't think you could. I thought it was only another streaming service that you could do it with. But Pete, if you're listening and you're still there, maybe you can just show me how you can do that. I mean, the fact is, Cookie, that I've got to break away from the one that we're using with that was Raconteur's news anyway, because the money's going to run out anytime soon. So I think it must be any day now. It really must be. So it's very kind of you. Sending you some energetic oleum basilium for your stuffy nose. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, is BB lurking, says Chris. BB wasn't even in the chat last night. He might be away or something, mightn't he? You just don't know because he's normally here. And I'd like to thank BB again. Let's remind you what he gave us last as the start of the screen. He struck once again, didn't he? Entire screen. There we go. Right, okay, let's share that. And I'm just going to go down to here. Where is it? Summer memes. There we go. Where is it? This one. So this is what he did for tonight's show. And again, if you want to buy my salve, please buy my salve. It rubs the salve on its skin, or else it gets another quiz. That was my Halloween special meme for the start of the show. So again, many thanks to BB, our cheeky little monkey there on the on my right, but maybe to your left. I'm not sure. I can never quite work it out. And thanks also. I'd like to thank Cookie. Thanks for putting those numbers right. I can never get those numbers right. Those Roman numerals. It was something that I was never taught. It really wasn't. So this is Healthfreedom. It's Tuesday night. I hope you're enjoying the show. My name's not a Dr. Robert. I'm here just for your fun and entertainment. And don't forget, we've got Cookie and Pete again doing their show tomorrow night with the start of Pete doing his legendary starts with his videos that normally get him into trouble, like it did last week. And we've got Steve the Tagoose on Thursday. And on Saturday, we've got Jimmy doing his 10 o'clock show. Jimmy, how did your DJing go? Did you do any scratching? Find any bugs that made you scratch? Yeah. Oh, right. Now, here we go. Rob, use the pop-out chat option and then select share screen in StreamYard and share the chat room. Simples. Use the pop-out chat option. Okay. I don't know where I can find that, Cookie, if I'm honest with you on here. But I'm sure you can. Yeah, I don't know where I'd find that. Pop-out chat option and then select share screen. Okay, but you reckon it can be done, so that's great. I'm glad to hear it. But I can't find where the pop-out chat option is on here. So Sean says, I know supplements. The pop-out chat is on the YouTube page, top right of the chat room. Oh, I see. So I've got to go to the YouTube page. Okay. Top right of the chat room. But I suppose if I go to the YouTube page, won't we get some feedback and stuff like that? Okay, so maybe I've got to do it when use OBS pop out chat and share it and position it where you like on live stream, says Jimmy. Yeah, my son told me about OBS, Jim, and I know you use it. I also know that Steve uses it. The 3 dots on top. Okay, thanks for that, everyone. I will try that, but yeah, I don't think I can do it now, can I? I think I'd have to go to the YouTube. Dr. Robert, turn your volume off, says Mr. Smith. Oh, right, OBS is absolutely the best one. Yeah, but the problem is, Mr. Smith, I think that OBS, you can't get 10 guests in, can you? That's one of the reasons why I want to do this, is to get up to 10 guests in for the after chat. Maybe people can come in and have a chat about it afterwards when we do the after chat. Select pop out. Okay. I mean, what I'll do is, Cookie, maybe I'll put the invite link up, and maybe before I end the show, people can just show me where to go and stuff and what to do, and then we can give it a go. But I would like to do that. I think it's would everyone like the chat in in the uh, in the screen here? What do you think? I know my bloody nose is getting more and more blocked. Boomer tech help, yeah. I'm a baby boomer tech, yeah. I'm afraid. But again, I'm all new to this, Cookie. You know, I've only been doing this for a year now, so I've never done anything like this. So it's all new to me. I'm pretty good. I've done crypto and stuff like that. So Sean is talking about a waste of money. If you need external props to maintain health, I would have been dead years ago because I never took any of them. Okay, how old are you, Sean? Are you a young man? Are you in your 40s? Are you in your 50s? Yeah. Maybe you're very, very lucky. Oh, right. Okay. OBS can do 30 guests, but it reduces bandwidth for each one you add. OBS has nothing to do with the number of guests you use. It is an in-between software used for presentation at your end only. Thank you very much, Jim. Also, I don't know how easy it is for people to get onto OBS, Mr. Smith, as well. You're 57 next month. Okay. Well done to you, sir. I hope you're healthy and you don't need to use supplements. That's very good. When you get to maybe 77, you might find that you should have used some supplements. You just don't know. I like to use fish oil every day. I have vitamin D. How do you get your vitamin D? You've got to get it from the sun. If the sun's not there, then you have to use a supplement. So that's what I like to do. I use a spray vitamin D every day. Also, vitamin C. There's evidence that says that having a lot of vitamin C is good for the body. You can't get much vitamin C out of fruit and vegetables these days because they're all with pesticides. The day after they performed the tsunami exercise in the Atlantic on the 7th, if I survive the wave, says Sean, yeah. If you're struggling to share the chat room, you'll probably find OBS too much to cope with. Yeah, possibly, Cookie, but I'm quite willing to learn, mate. I'm quite willing to learn, you know. Again, it's like anything, isn't it? You've just got to learn these things. Should we have another? I'm going to carry on having another health story. Here's a link to do with. Here's a link to do with the sweets and everything. So let me add this on. So here's a story about artificial sweeteners. Now I've been talking about this for quite a long time now, but here's a story, and I just thought it was relevant as we're in Halloween and kids can be eating a lot of sugar, and most sweets now are artificial sweeteners, aren't they? Let's be honest about it. With studies suggesting they could raise your risk of diabetes and depression, while artificial sweeteners may not be healthier than sugar. Artificial sweeteners are everywhere, from cereals and yogurts to diet drinks, ice creams, instant coffee, chewing gum and toothpaste, as well as prescription drugs such as antidepressants and antibiotics. In Britain, we have become gluttons for those enthralling chemical additives, trusting in their sweet tooth kick without the calorific risk of natural sugar. In fact, we swallow a third of all artificial sweeteners sold in the world. And last November, it was reported that 2.2 million Britons use artificial sweeteners at least 4 times a day. They are becoming 100 and astonishing 13 times sweeter than natural sugar, according to a study from the Sorbonne University Paris, or Sorbonne University Paris, published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2007. But the problem is that our brains build a tolerance to such titanic sweetness that it soon becomes our normal and renders naturally unsweetened foods such as fruit and veg bland and unpalatable, the researchers said. This diet distortion effect might not be a worry if artificial sweeteners had an otherwise neutral effect on our bodies. However, there is mounting evidence suggesting that they're linked to health problems. For example, research published last month suggests ultra-processed foods and drinks, especially those containing artificial sweeteners, may be linked to a greater risk of depression. This was based on analysis of nurses' health study in the US involving nearly 32,000 women by researchers from Harvard Medical School in Massachusetts. This did not prove artificial sweeteners were a cause. However, the investigators suggested they may trigger the transmission of particular signaling molecules in the brain that are important for mood. Separately, a 12-year study of more than 100,000 adults in France reported in the BMJ last September found more artificial sweeteners consumed, the greater risk of cardiovascular disease. There are also concerns about sweeteners raising people's risk of developing type 2 diabetes by interfering with their body's ability to regulate blood sugar levels healthily. Ironically, many people switch from sugar to artificial sweeteners to avoid developing type 2 diabetes by losing weight. However, the switch may increase their risk of obesity. A 2017 study in the Canadian Medical Association journal, over 400,000 people found that over a 10-year period, those who drank one or more artificially sweetened beverage a day had a significantly higher risk of weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. One reason for weight gain may be the feeling cheated effect. Research by psychologists at Texas Christian University found that people who drank an artificially sweetened drink were subsequently much more likely to snack on sugary foods than those who drank either water or sugar-sweetened drinks, reported the journal Appetite in 2014. The suggestion that consuming chemicals hundreds of times sweeter than sugar primes our metabolisms to prepare for a large influx of calories, and when the calories don't arrive, the body ramps up its appetite cravings in search of the missing calories. So people subsequently binge on fattening foods, according to Suzanne Swithers, a professor of psychology. Based on the evidence to date, the World Health Organization in May published a new guideline on sweeteners, advising that they didn't help with weight control long term, and they might have unintended effects such as an increased risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. I'm just going to pause for a second. The industry contested this conclusion, questioning the strength of the evidence. But what if you wanted to wean yourself away from these chemicals? It may seem impossible, not least because natural sugar itself seems so hard to shun. A 2013 paper by scientists at Bordeaux University warned evidence in humans shows that sugar and sweeteners can induce reward and cravings that are comparable in magnitude to those induced by addictive drugs. Moreover, the report published in the journal Current Opinion in Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care said experiments with lab rats showed that sugar and sweet reward not only substitute addictive drugs like cocaine, but can even be more rewarding and attractive. However, recent evidence suggests artificial sweeteners may be significantly easier to forego than refined sugar. In 2020, neuroscientists at Columbia University reported that while sugar and artificial sweeteners trigger the same taste sensors on the tongues, receptors in our stomachs respond in different ways to them. The report published in the journal Nature suggests that natural sugar triggers neurons in the stomach that send signals to a region in the primitive base of our brains called the caudal nucleus of the solitary tract. According to the lead investigator, this gut-brain signaling triggers us to want more sugar. However, his experiment showed only natural sugar prompts this response because the gut receptors ignore all the chemicals in artificial sweeteners. Thus, sweeteners and sugar affect the brain differently, with only natural sugar prompting addiction-like cravings. As Dr. Zucker puts it, sweet is like in sugar is wanting. Thus, it may be less difficult to give up artificial sweeteners than natural sugar. And it could take only a matter of days. Trial involving 20 users of artificial sweeteners journal in the in 2015 found that after only 2 weeks of going cold turkey from the chemicals, that their tastes were reset significantly. The study run by nutritionists in Los Angeles concluded that after 14 days of abstinence, 95% of participants found sweet foods and drinks tasted sweeter or too sweet, and 75% found unsweetened foods such as fruits and veg tasted sweeter. Helen Bond, a dietitian and spokesman for the British Dietetic Association, told Good Health, whilst going cold turkey can work for some people, for many, it's just too abrupt. Instead, she says, cutting down gently may work better for many people because it takes time to adjust our sense of taste to the natural levels of sweetness in foods, and to drop habits of expecting things such as tea and coffee to taste sweetened. It's a bit like weaning ourselves from high salt in foods. Whilst that means cutting out some industrial processed foods such as light yogurts that are high in sweeteners, it does not mean having to avoid them altogether, Helen Bond argues. We've been steadily swayed into eating processed foods with artificial sweeteners, but certainly finding everyday items such as affordable packaged bread and cereals free of sweeteners should be easy. Well, I disagree with that. At the same time, we can adjust comparatively easily to eating naturally sweet fruits and vegetables in season, such as apples, as well as foods with natural sweeteners, such as oats. Dr. Chris Van Tullehen, who is the author of Ultra Processed People, Why Do We Eat All Stuff That Isn't Food, told Good Health that with his own family, I try to keep them from false flavors, particularly sweeteners, as part of trying to ensure their diet is free from ultra processed foods. Let me just pause there 1 second. And this bit is actually going to lead on to another article that I will discuss with you. Nevertheless, the children get sweeteners in chewing gum, which they love, and when visiting friends and relatives, they get it in fruit squashes. Nor is it possible to avoid sweeteners in children's medicines, such as antibiotics and liquid paracetamol. They're loaded with them. He acknowledges that his family is able to afford a fresh food diet. Not everyone can do this, he says. But with children, it's still possible to cut out things that aren't necessary to a diet, such as so-called healthy squashes and yogurts. Following the WHO's publication of its new guideline in May, the industry body, the International Sweeteners Association, said low, no-calorie sweeteners are safe to use, are one of the most thoroughly researched ingredients in the world, and have been approved by all major food safety bodies, including the European Food Safety Authority. The ISA believes it is disservice to public health not to recognize low, no-calorie sweeteners' role in reducing sugar and calorie intake and aiding in weight control. What do you think of that then? Sweet poison. There's some really good points being made there, wasn't there, by people as well. I want to come back to who was it? I think it was Nubian said she loses at least colloidal silver shorten the days of illness. Been using it since literally I started getting the cold, Nubian. I use colloidal silver. Just straight in the mouth. And I also put it in my eyes. If you're ever going on a plane or anything, you should use colloidal silver on your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth as well. And yeah, sweeteners, these artificial sweeteners, they didn't get approved, did they, in the 1980s? If you look back at people and how thin we all were back in the 1980s, I believe it took 7 attempts, something like that, for it to get through the American Congress for it to be approved. And the interesting thing is, again, I don't know if people have seen this, where if you put an artificial sugar down on the ground, ants and that will avoid it. They won't go near it because they know it's poison. But it's really hard to avoid because it's in so many things now, isn't it? Like juices and things like that. Whatever, like you try getting a drink with just pure sugar in it, And yeah, there has to be this balance because, again, for me, everything that I've understood is that your brain will not crave as much sugar the more omega-3 fats you have. So again, the more you put in, like for example, before I went to the allotment, I like to eat some folic acid. Now, what's folic acid? Well, that's coconut oil, and coconut oil will actually feed your muscles folic acid. So again, it stops you from aching and things like that, and also it fills you up. You eat a big load of coconut oil, and you're not going to be hungry. You're not going to go, oh, could do with a burger now, because it really, really does fill your brain with fat. So that's one of the things. If you've got a sugar craving, try and get more fat into your body. Good fats, omega-3 fats, fish oil fats, and things like that. There was some good debating going on down here as well. Cookie says, and corn syrup is added to pretty much everything. Yep, absolutely. That's why I'm trying to avoid processed foods as well, Cookie, because I know it's literally in everything they make in the shops. Corn syrup is added to it, and I told people the other day that I will not now eat Chinese food in one of these buffets because the amount of monosodium glutamate (MSG) that they put in it. I had the worst night's sleep I'd had for years, and my dreams were just off the level. They were off the scale, and I don't recommend anyone go to a buffet and eat there. Eat as much as they can because you will pay for it in other ways. What's people saying? Anyone ever got a dose of food poisoning would disagree your stomach neutralizes parasites, says Jimmy. Okay, fair enough. Colloidal silver is an antiseptic too, says Mr. Smith. Yep, absolutely. Matt is good for you. My mum used to make me have it when I was little. Now I love it. Hello. Malt, rather. Sorry. Malt, says Kitty. Spanish only gave it to dogs. New Being says, Jimmy Hagan, balance. Too much of anything can poison. Body works it out. Body is intelligent, methinks. Yep, good point. Coke is the only one with just sugar now. As far as I can see, for cordial, go to Polish shops and get Louts or herbal pool juice, same as used to be with no sweetness. Actually, my partner, I have a bottle here. Because my partner doesn't drink and she drinks cordials, and this is 100% natural. I don't know if you've seen these, Belvoir Farm. They're not cheap, but these are like, this is like proper old school Ribena. Do you remember old school Ribena? Whilst I was playing that clip there, I want to reach for my essential oils. Got my essential oils here. I've got eucalyptus here. I can't even smell it. I can't even smell the eucalyptus. It's that bad. But yeah, artificial sweeteners can go and do one as far as I'm concerned. They really can. People chatting amongst themselves. Rick says his dog eats everything. Yeah, Lop says it's almost impossible to get drinks without sweetener now. Absolutely, it really is. But Rich says buffets hammer the MSG to add flavour to old food. Yeah, you're probably right, mate, but I'll never fucking go there again. I really won't. That was just, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Miss Blue Sky says, I think most Chinese restaurants use MSG, but I think at buffets you end up eating way too much MSG in one sitting. Yeah. And MSG is now in things like also gravies as well. But again, you're not having as much, are you? I still have soft drinks, but I try to avoid the ones with aspartame. Yep. Blazing Star says MSG isn't bad. Blazing, can I recommend a book to you? Dr. Russell Blaylock, Excitotoxins. You might change your mind. Dr. Russell Blaylock, Excitotoxins. He knew he's a brain surgeon and he studied MSGs. He knows a thing. He knows a thing or few too about them. Shall we get on to the last article? And we've done an hour and a half already. Blimey. Last article, and then we're gonna finish with a tune, and then a quick after chat. I'll join you in the after chat. Gonna add last story, another sugar one. This is the oxymoron that says adding sugar to your tea and coffee is not that bad for you. It's after they've been talking about sugar. So here we go. So following on from the artificial sweetness story, there's another one here today. And adding sugar to tea and coffee may not be bad for your health, new research claims. Government advice in 2015 recommended limiting sugar intake to 30 grams a day. A new study suggests adding sugar to tea and coffee is not a major health risk. Well, this seems a bit oxymoronic. Adding sugar to tea or coffee may not have a negative impact on our overall health, researchers have claimed. Diet advice drawn up by the government in 2015 urged adults to limit sugar intake to 30 grams a day, or about 7 teaspoons, to protect dental health and help tackle the rising tide of diabetes and obesity-related illnesses. The NHS also suggests reducing the sugar in tea or coffee until you can cut it out altogether, or to use artificial sweeteners instead. But a new study has found no association between sweetening the beverages and a heightened risk of diabetes and early death. Dutch, Danish, and British scientists analysed data from the Copenhagen Mail study, which has tracked and tested men since the 1970s. It was unclear how much sugar the men in the study added to their hot drinks, but overall, those who admitted to adding it to their tea or coffee were no more likely to develop health issues than those who claimed not to. There was no statistically significant association between the use of sugar in tea and coffee and all-cause mortality, cardiovascular mortality, cancer mortality, or diabetes, wrote the authors. Despite this finding, a recent major analysis concluded that high sugar consumption is more harmful than beneficial for health, especially in cardiometabolic disease. These include heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. The analysis of 73 large-scale studies and more than 8,600 scientific articles found significant harmful studies and harmful associations between sugar consumption, metabolic disorders, and heart problems. High sugar consumption, which included sweetened drinks, also linked to increased weight. Reducing the consumption of added sugars to less than 6 teaspoons per day and limiting sugar-sweetened beverages to less than 1 serving per week are recommended to reduce the adverse effects of sugars, they said in the British Medical Journal. Commentating on those contrasting findings to Medical News Today, weight loss expert Sarah Stomba said, "This research demonstrates that adding small amounts of sugar to our diet can be done without serious risk. At home, you are likely to add less sugar than is found in the flavored coffee at the cafe." Absolutely right, Sarah. Absolutely right. Yeah, how much sugar do they put in those things that you have when you go to a coffee house? one of those sugary coffees and stuff like that. There's something like 10 or 12 spoons of sugar, isn't there? It's absolutely ridiculous. But I do wonder who paid to have that article written. Sugar industry, by any chance, anyone? Sugar industry, right on top of Halloween as well. I hope you've had a good Halloween. I really do. I hope you've had a good. Kitty used to have 5 to 6 teaspoons of sugar. Now she doesn't. That's good. Yeah, I have one sugar in my tea and coffee. I have one sugar. It's not terrible. But yeah, I used to have 2, so I know I've cut right down. So I couldn't have 2 now. It's too much. So that about wraps things up. We've done 1 hour 36 so far. We're gonna go out with a tune as well. We're gonna do an after chat as well. What's Cookie saying here? When they keep saying sugar, they're referring to the refined stuff. 90s, yeah, probably a sugar industry promo. Yeah, absolutely, Cookie. I think so. Stopped sugar in coffee until at about the age of 15, said Newbie, and took about 3 weeks to wear off. Never anymore. Every teaspoon of sugar apparently turns off your immune system for about an hour, from everything that I've researched as well. Rich T says, have a banana. Have a banana. Anyway, I hope you all stay healthy and you don't end up as bad as me with a nasty cold. But I can't complain. I haven't had any sort of detox like this for quite a few years. So I've been pretty lucky. I do try and keep myself healthy. I wouldn't be much of an advert if I was sitting here and not staying healthy. Although right now I feel pretty unhealthy and I can't even smell this eucalyptus. But yes, New Bean, it's great to be able to breathe through your mouth. I think I'll be doing a lot of that tonight when I go to bed, is breathing through my mouth. So don't forget, we've got Pete and Cookie coming up tomorrow, and then Steve on Thursday and Jimmy on Saturday. And here's a very, very quick reminder for you. There you go. That's a courtesy of Pete. Let me use that. So maybe he'll pass it on to you, Jimmy, as well. I think it's a great little thing that you put together there. I really do. So thanks, everyone. I've put the link in the notes. If you want to join me, please do so in an after chat. I'm staying for about 15 minutes. So come in quickly, because then I'll just want to bugger off and deal with my cold. But thanks for joining me. We've had a good crowd in tonight, and I really appreciated it. I hope you enjoyed the stories. I'll see you again next Tuesday, and I'll also see you on the other shows as well. Steve's show, Cookie and Pete's show as well, and maybe Jimmy's if I'm feeling up to it and I can stay awake that long as well. Next week, my voice and my nose should be much clearer. But thanks again for joining me. Please, I'll post the link one more time. Here we are. Let's just post it there. And thanks to Steve saying that. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Like and share, friends. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going out with a tune now. This is especially for Pete, who requested it. So God bless you all. Remember, they may come as good as you, but they don't come any better. Okay. I'll see you next week. And thanks, everyone, for your love and support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you next week, all right? And for now, here's a
There's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. Since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all of the time. Oh yeah, life is bare. Gloom and misery everywhere. Stormy weather, stormy weather. And I just can't get my poor self together. Oh, I'm weary all of the time. The time. So weary all of the time. When he went away, the blues walked in and met me. Oh yeah, if he stays away, oh, rocking chair is gonna get me. All I do is pray the Lord will let me walk in the sun once more. Oh, I can't go on, can't go on, can't go on. Everything I have is gone. Stormy weather, stormy weather. Since my man and I, me and my daddy ain't together. Keeps raining all of the time. Oh, oh, keeps raining all of the time. Oh yeah, 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 raining all of the time. Stormy, stormy, stormy weather.